Hello, this is Will, coming to you from the Walk for Liberty. And it's September 17th, 2008, day 137. There have been lots of unleashed dogs around houses around here. Fortunately, most of them are nice, or if they're barking at me, their owners have come out and called them away. Scruffy's been following me for over 2 miles now. I think she's getting tired. I finally called the number on her tag, and the owner, a retired teacher named Dave, came by and picked her up. He said that she was actually a stray and showed up at their doorstep 11 or 12 years ago. I would have never pegged her as being that old. Anyway, this wasn't the first adventure she's had. A few years back, somebody had picked her up and taken her on a ride to a town which was about 20 miles away. He received a call from the sheriff saying they had her there at the pound. And when he went there, he had to pay $26 to bail her out, since apparently being kidnapped is a crime in Olivia, Minnesota. Today, I'd like to talk about the subject of volunteering. Many people seem to feel that volunteering, or doing work that you don't get paid for, is the noblest, most honorable activity on earth. But then to take the logical opposite of that, getting paid for something is somehow dishonorable. However, unless the people doing the volunteer work are independently wealthy, then they almost certainly have another paying job which they use to support themselves, and to allow them to be able to do their volunteer work during their off time. They probably consider their for-profit job a necessary evil. But instead of them spending a majority of their time and energy on a job which they don't care about at all, or even one which they moderately care about, and then using whatever energy and time they have left at the end of a long day on their volunteer pursuit, wouldn't it make much more sense to find work which is truly what they want to do and get paid for it? I think the problem is that most people can't possibly visualize how they could do that, especially if the area which they truly love and which they're currently volunteering in is one which they've conditioned themselves to think that you can't make any money in, or at least any significant amount of money. And that's the real roadblock. Even if they discover an avenue which will allow them to make a tiny amount of money in the area which they love, they won't go down it. For them, it's all or nothing, and if the opportunity presented doesn't allow them to make enough to support themselves in the living that they're used to, then they won't take it. What they fail to realize, though, is that if there's a way to make a small amount of money in something, there's no reason that with some diligence and hard work, you can't open it up to make more. Especially if they're then doing it full time, and at that point have the time, energy, and incentive to do that. In that way, it's similar to what I recommended in yesterday's Day 136 video. That if you're stuck in the planning stages for something, i.e. figuring out how to make money in something that you love, then stop planning and just jump right in and do it. And at that point, you're incentivized to figure out the details. As you may have figured out, this issue is actually very relevant to me. A while back, before starting the Walk for Liberty, I had quit my job of 11 years working as a computer programmer. Even though I still loved programming, I decided I didn't want to spend my valuable life doing something which I wasn't completely passionate about, which in that case was writing software for advertising agencies. And after I quit, that eventually led to the Walk for Liberty. I am often asked what I plan on doing for work once I get to New Hampshire. When they ask the question, I think most of them assume that I'll get some kind of day job to support myself and do my liberty activism in my off hours, which is what it seems like nearly all of the liberty activists in New Hampshire end up doing. I have no intention, though, of getting a job which is not working toward achieving liberty for all. And in fact, I don't even really want to get a job at all where I'm working for somebody else. Frankly, I don't care if at first I'm just barely scraping by. I'd rather be living in a gutter and devoting myself fully towards spreading liberty than spending half of my awake time to earn money in a job which is not aligned with my mission. To me, it's not just about how much or what type of activism I do, but rather what I'm devoting my living toward. I walked 22.5 miles, and here's my GPS position. This is Will Buchanan for Amazon.walkforliberty.com, signing off.
Wait a minute.